Hi everyone, this is Dr. Patrick of Dreaming Spires Home Learning. This is our fourth day of talking about the different courses that we have on offer for 2019-2020. We've talked about Middle Ages and Renaissance so far, so this one's about British novels. If you haven't seen our introductory video though, I guess that's day 0. Please be sure and go watch it because that explains how Dreaming Spires works across the board, no matter what subject it is. So I'm talking right now about British novels, which is our third English course in theory, but you don't have to take it in that order. Some people actually find it helpful to take British novel first, just on its own without the extension, because children may be more familiar with novels and be able to find a way into this harder course because they're just reading books a bit harder than they're used to, like Robinson Crusoe or Gulliver's Travels or something like that. And as usual, we just ask them to do a narration every week and 3 discussion questions as a way of furthering their understanding, while also we're keeping our finger on their pulse to make sure that they're actually responding to the books and not short-circuiting the program by not actually reading them. So we can tell that by the discussion questions and the narration, and also the chat in class where they're typing mostly. Sometimes they give a presentation, but mostly it's my talking and they're chatting, and we connect that way. British novels, so I mentioned a couple of them that we start with. We also end up doing a little bit of poetry over the Christmas period, and we end with a drama with The Importance of Being Earnest. And in the meantime, we just read some of the greatest novel literature in Britain from about 1720 to about 1900. And there's about 8-9 books that we read. So when we're reading, though, we talk about history, we talk about structure of the books, we talk about art history. One of my favorite words and my favorite units is when I talk about the sublime. And so we have this joke that runs through, and usually year after year after year, because people will take British novel and take other courses as well later on. And then we'll talk about something. They go, "Oh, Dr. P, you mean the sublime?" And I say, "Yes, the sublime." But it helps you understand sort of the intensity of Wuthering Heights without being so cross that she's bizarre sometimes. In the extension, we do focus entirely on writing literary essays about novels. We start off with, this is a format for literary essays. I call it the curtain model. It's a way of envisioning every part that needs to be in the essay. And then we learn how to analyze the literature. And with novels, sometimes it's a bit harder because the language and the techniques aren't quite so obvious, like a simile or a metaphor or something like that. You have to look at more things like sentence structures. You have to look at repetition of words. You have to look at the atmosphere that's created in a room, or how a setting is working or something like that. So that's the kind of thing we look at throughout the year, is these sort of bigger, more overview techniques when you're writing about novel literature. And it works really well if you do it right after the Renaissance Lit class, where we did look more specifically at language of the poetry and drama and the prose in terms of Pilgrim's Progress of the 17th century. And then it's almost like we up the ante in British novel. As usual, if you're in America, you can count the main course as 1 credit. The add-on writing extension can either be another half credit or combine the 2 for an honors class. We supply the course description either way that you want it, like that. And as I said in I think Middle Ages, I said we also write the recommendations for you if that's what you require. You find us at www.dreamingspiresHomeLearning.com, or if you're in the UK system or taking the UK exams, sort of GCSEs or A-levels, then the suffix at the end is .co.uk. Come and join the conversation at Inspired Home Learning, which is on Facebook as a group, and then also we're on Facebook as a business page as Dreaming Spires Home Learning. Instagram, you'll find me at Cat Patrick Online Tutor. So that's all for today. Tomorrow, I'll be talking about American Lit and why really it's probably the course best to save for last when it comes to English, or one of your older students, sort of your 10th, 11th graders. Or if you're in England, that would be a 11th or 12th year person. Anyway, someone sort of 16 or 17, because it's not so much about the books, but the add-on writing extension is research papers, and they can be quite challenging. So I'll talk about that tomorrow then. I'll see you later. Bye.